What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're getting back to the repairs, or I should say we're starting the repairs. I've got my new skid plate behind me, or I should say new to me. You can see it is kind of rusty. It has seen better days for sure, but we will get to it. And you can see I've already started a bit over here. It isn't that bad. Once you actually start sanding it down and grinding it down, it's pretty good. This is just kind of like a grease or something like a rust proofer they sprayed on here, which didn't really do much. As you can see, it's still rusting underneath, but it's not that bad. So we will get to it, and let's hit it with like a wire wheel first just to get all this loose stuff off. Then I think I'm gonna hit it with a grinding wheel, like a sanding disc. And yeah, after that we're gonna paint it, prime it, and it should be good to go. So right now, let's get to it. Let's start getting all this debris and rust off, and hopefully we can get to somewhat of a decent plate to use. Because if you guys didn't watch my last video when we went off-roading, I bent the crap out of mine. I turtled myself on a rock and it got real bent out of shape, and I have some driveline vibes. And because I already have a lift and a drop bracket, it kind of eliminated the drop bracket for me. So I've got a brand new plate, or a better plate I should say. This one is actually in great condition structure wise. It's solid. It has great it's not bent anywhere. It has all the points where it should be for the mounting points for the transmission and for the body, or I should say the frame, are where they should be. So let's get to it. And just to prove to you guys, it is a solid plate. It isn't just a rusty piece of shit. So we will actually get something out of this. So let's get to it. Let's start grinding it down. Let's get all the rust off, and then we can prime it and paint it. About 2 hours. Yeah, it didn't come out amazing, but it is a skid plate, so it doesn't really make a big difference if it looks great. I just wanted to get the rust off, get most of the just rust and nastiness off of it, and I think we did pretty good. As you can see, we got down to the bare metal. There's a bit of pitting here and there, but nothing that's really going to affect the rigidity of the actual plate. Plate is solid all the way through. Like I said, it was pretty much just surface rust. There is some pitting, but it's a 20-year-old plate. What are you gonna do? And I know that I could get a belly tuck skid plate, but the reason we're not doing that is because I already have a skid plate drop. If I get the belly tuck, it kind of eliminates that, and mine being bent right now, it is eliminating that, and it's causing a lot of driveline vibrations. So until we get the slip yoke eliminator, this is basically what we're gonna have to deal with. and it's not that bad. So hopefully the other side doesn't take me as long. I started on the side that was a little bit worse first, so that's out of the way. Now let's get to the other side. We'll finish off the other side and we'll get over, and hopefully we can prime it and paint it today. If not, then at least I'll get it primed today and I'll paint it tomorrow. And yeah, let's keep going and let's get at it. Well guys, remind me to never open a metal shop because it's no fun. So after about 5 hours of grinding out here, I got bitched out, so I think I gotta stop. And we got pretty good, we got pretty far. We did pretty much almost all of the rust. There's a few little pieces of tiny bits of rust left that I will address right before I throw on some primer. But I will be taking this thing with me and we will be priming it at my house because right now, like I said, we already got bitched out. So let's take this thing with us and let's get out of here. Let's go prime it and then we'll hit it with a gravel guard. But show you guys the other side real quick. I'd say it came out really well. Yeah, could be a lot worse, and it was a lot worse. So yeah. And I did have to do that whole job with a drill. I ordered a die grinder. It didn't come in time and I'm still waiting like a week now. I ordered myself a whole bunch of other tools that would also help me, but those also didn't come. So right now we are using what we've got. We got the job done, and I will have to say that these quick strip discs, that's what they're called, quick strip, these work really great. They are actually amazing at taking off rust and paint. I highly recommend you guys get yourself some of these if you're doing any kind of metal work. But yeah, that was definitely a mission, and I'm definitely gonna need a shower after that. So let's clean up this whole area, because as you can see, my driveway is not that dark. So let's clean all this up and let's get out of here. We'll head back to my apartment and then we will actually hit it with the primer and clean off that last little bit of rust. So let's go and let's get it done. All right, all cleaned up, and there is the 2 pounds of skid plate that I swept up. As you guys can see, a lot of skid plate and a lot of debris came off of there, but yeah, it looks a lot better and I'm a lot happier with the condition of it now than what it was like a few hours ago, because that did not look nice, and putting that on the Jeep is just kind of, I don't know how long it's gonna last. So now that we can actually seal it and keep it in the same shape that it's in, so it doesn't get any further deterioration, it should last a lot longer. But if I was to put it on like that, it would just keep rusting, and it might last me a year before it actually crumbles. But now we got back to the solid metal, we got rid of all the rust, we got rid of all the crap, and now we can actually seal it and paint it to seal it, and we should have something that is actually going to last us a little bit longer. So here we are, since we got kicked out of working in front of my mom's place. I don't blame her, because after 5 hours of grinding, I would have kicked me out after 1 hour, but yeah. So let's paint this thing. I got it set up here in the parking lot. Let's just go hit it quickly with the primer, and then I'll hit it with a gravel guard. The reason I'm using gravel guard is it's going to help with the stones and all the gravel and all the stuff that's going to be kicked up at the actual plate. So it should last a lot longer, and it should have a better resistance against all the stuff that it's going to have to handle. It is the same stuff that I used for my wheel wells, and it's been holding up really well. But honestly, I think it should hold up pretty good. And I will show you guys what my other plate looks like once it comes out, because it is coming out tomorrow. So stay tuned, because it is not pretty. Well, there's one light layer of primer. We did both sides. Now I'm gonna wait for it to dry about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll hit it again with another layer of primer. That way we have a nice thick base coat, and that way the actual gravel guard, if it does get chipped or anything happens to it, it doesn't go right down to the metal. It does have a primer underneath, and hopefully that helps us stay a little bit more rust free. But for now, I haven't had any issues with the wheel wells, like I said, so it should be good. And I didn't even prime those. So let's wait for this to dry. We'll hit it with the primer again, and then it is getting dark, so I might have to hit it with the gravel guard tomorrow, but that's okay, because it'll let the primer cure a little bit better. So let's go 10 more minutes, and we'll hit it with round 2. It is the next day, guys, and it was a little bit dark when I finished priming it, but you guys can see here, it actually came out really well, and there isn't really any kind of unevenness. There is a few spots that are pitted, and if you guys were looking at it before I coated it with the primer, there was some darker spots and some spots that looked like the rust was still there. That was the pitted spots. I tried to get at them as best as I could, but without an actual grinding disc, I wasn't able to actually get all the pitting out. So this is a rust stop primer, so anything that is underneath this is basically not going to continue to rust. It's going to seal everything, it's going to keep everything good. So we should be good. The gravel guard doesn't actually even need a primer. You can put that stuff right over the rust. So this is just an added layer of protection. Plus, if we hit a rock and we go over a rock and we get in contact with something like that, it's gonna rip right through the paint and go down to the metal anyway. So this is more for the sand and the abrasion and all the stuff that gets kicked up as you're driving. And it should be more than enough for that. And if we do hit a rock or anything and we get a big deep scratch or gash in it, gravel guard is really easy to just touch up, and it should look great. So let's go, let's hit it with the gravel guard now, let's coat it up, and it should be good to go. But I'll show you guys the other side real quick. And here is the other side. It doesn't look too bad. As you can see, it coated, it came out pretty well, and it is nice and even all the way around, so we should be pretty good. The only thing is this one spot here, but I grinded it down as best as I could, and I went all the way down to the metal, so there is no rust there. It is kind of just like a uneven area, but we are going to be using the drop bracket, so I'm going to have spacers on all of the actual mounting points, so we should be good either way. And looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. Looks good so far, and it is straight. And that's what counts. So now let's coat it, and we should be good. After that, I'll go show you guys what my other one looks like. Well, I forgot to press record for the first side, but let's do it for the second side. So here we go. So we've successfully painted it one layer, and I didn't go too deep on it, or too thick I should say, because I do want to go on another layer or two, and it is drying pretty well, as you can see. Well, that's not a good test, but there you go. I do have a couple pieces that I need to touch up from when I laid it down to flip it. But other than that, it's not too bad. And yeah, I do know that I'm doing it in like pretty much the dirt, but it's a skid plate. So it doesn't have to look pretty, and any piece that gets like rubbed off while I'm flipping it or whatever, I do wait the 15 minutes for it to dry. That's how long you should wait for it to be tack free and actually recoat. But yeah, it's not a big deal to me if I have one or two pieces over here that I need to recoat, or if I have like a little bit over here that I need to recoat, because I'll just spray it up once it's on the actual Jeep, and it's not a big deal. The whole underside of the Jeep, the whole frame, the entire wheel wells, everything is gravel guarded, so it's not a big deal to just touch it up anytime. But I think it's coming out really well. Not bad. Looks like our effort is paying off. Now I'm gonna wait a little bit to recoat this one. I'm gonna use another can because I've already used a full can doing this. So we're gonna basically have a full can on each side. So it should turn out pretty good. Now let's go clean off ourselves a little bit, and then we'll come back and get dirty again. Alright, time for round two. And let's go. I think it should be a lot better after we do the second round. Right after I got my hands clean. No, this stuff actually peels off really nice. It's kind of like a rubber coating almost, so you don't really have to work too hard. And it should be a lot more durable than just a regular paint, which is why I didn't paint it. Powder coating would be the most durable. Powder coating would be the most durable, but I don't have the time because I just picked this thing up. I actually drove like 7 hours to get it. I drove 3 hours each way to go pick this thing up. I got it for 70 bucks. Picked it up on Thursday. Then today is Monday, so I kind of wasted a day or two there, but we got it done. And tomorrow I'm actually getting my drive shaft rebuilt on the front. So the front drive shaft that goes from the transfer case to the actual differential. And I'll be getting all 3 U-joints on there replaced, so they're gonna have to drop the transfer case to do that. So that's why I have to get it done now, so that they can just put in the they have to drop the transfer case skid plate, sorry, so that I can just throw this to them and they can put it in at the same time. So let's get it coated and let's finish this up. And unfortunately I would be able to get you guys some better shots and some cooler shots while I'm painting it, but I have to hold it because I don't really want to paint the tree kind of like we painted the curb yesterday. So let's hold it and let's get it done. came out pretty good. I'm happy with how it came out, and now we're gonna leave it to dry, leave it for a little bit longer, and let me go show you guys why we're replacing it. And here we are at the Jeep. Now you guys can see exactly why I need a new skid plate. So yeah, it's pretty jacked up, and basically it is eliminating that drop that I did, and it's causing me a vibration in my driveline, so it has to go. Figured since we already have the drop, let's just get an OEM one for now. So I bought another stock one, and that's why we refinished it. And honestly, that thing has it's got quite a story behind it now, because it took 7 hours to go get, another 5 hours of grinding, and then let's call it another 2 hours of painting. So 14 hours on that thing, and I wouldn't do it again. If I knew, I would have just bought one. I think they're like $300 or $400. Honestly, for that price, I would have just bought one. But it is what it is. It's done now, and let's get her in. So in a few hours, I'm just gonna throw it in the Jeep, take the Jeep over to my mechanic, and we're gonna have to get the front drive shaft rebuilt with both of the U-joints at the transfer case end and the U-joint at the diff end. So we're basically gonna have a whole new drive shaft, except for the actual shaft. It's gonna be totally rebuilt. Hopefully it'll last us a little bit longer than the original one did, but the original one, it's been lasting quite a bit. So yeah, and it's getting squeaky. So I didn't think that I would make it those last 2 trips that I did, those 2 off-roading trips that you guys saw at Concession Lake and the mudding trip. So luckily we made it, and I went out there because I needed to get that done. We wanted to go have some fun, and I wanted to get the footage for you guys. So we got it done, we persevered, somehow we didn't break, and now it's time to repair it. It's still good, it didn't break yet, but we do have that driveline vibe. So while we're getting that done, they're gonna have to drop the skid plate. So while they drop the skid plate, I thought might as well just get a new one in there. So we got it in, or I got it done, now we'll get it in. And luckily we got it done in time. So yeah, good stuff. So guys, that's gonna be pretty much it for today. Not too much happening, but the next thing that we have to take care of are those fenders. As you guys saw, if you guys didn't see, actually, if you missed the last video where we messed up the skid plate, definitely check that one out. You won't want to miss it, but we have to do the fenders. I still have to do my fenders, so I will be cutting those as soon as my die grinder comes. And I will also be addressing the side. We will be getting some kind of rock sliders, as well as addressing the rust that is there, and just kind of doing some body work on the tub. So stay tuned for that, and all in between that, we will still be going off-road. Hopefully, if not this weekend, then next weekend. So watch out for that video, guys. Definitely, there's more trails coming. This is just the beginning of the season, and I think we have a good season ahead of us. So if you guys are new around here, jump down there, hit that subscribe button, because there's tons more content coming your way, and definitely you don't want to miss it. So thank you guys for sticking around. If you enjoyed the video, drop me a like, drop me a comment, let me know what you guys enjoyed. And until next time, guys, ride safe out there. Peace.